My parents skipped my wedding for my sister's big moment, then asked me for $15,000. I realized my parents had a favorite child when I was still a kid. I'm Bella, and my sister Chloe was born when I was 5. From then on, our house ran on one rule: don't upset Chloe. If she cried at night, I was told to stay quiet so she could sleep. If I had a fever, I still had to watch her because she needs consistency. When I was 16, I got a job at a grocery store to buy my own school supplies. Mom said it would build character. For prom, I saved for months and bought a dress from a thrift store. Mom glanced at it and said, "That's nice, honey," and kept scrolling. When Chloe had a school dance, my parents spent about $2,000 on her look and photos. Mom cried and posted it all online. When I turned 18, they handed me a suitcase and said it was time to be independent. When Chloe turned 13, they renovated the basement into her creative hangout with new furniture and lights. I wanted to be a nurse, so I took out about $80,000 in student loans and worked full-time waiting tables. I barely slept, but I graduated and started paying the loans right away. Chloe quit school early to do social media, and my dad called it her path. Instead of pushing her, he bought her a $15,000 camera setup. He called it an investment, even though it sat in the basement most of the year. Then the pandemic hit, and I worked long shifts in COVID units, scared and exhausted. When the hospital cut staff, I got laid off with no savings left. I'd been paying loans and covering small family emergencies, so my account was thin. I hated asking, but I called Mom and said, "Can you loan me $200 for food until unemployment comes in?" She sighed and said, "Honey, money's tight. Maybe ask your friends." 2 days later, Dad posted online about Chloe's exciting new venture. My parents had put $25,000 into a cupcake shop for her. It closed in 3 weeks because Chloe didn't realize baking meant early mornings. I stared at the post, then at my empty fridge, and felt my face burn. 5 years later, my fiancé Tom and I planned a small wedding. We couldn't do fancy, but we were happy, and we sent invites months ahead. The morning of the wedding, my phone rang while I was getting my hair pinned. Mom said, "Honey, we can't make it. Chloe's having a panic attack about her audition tomorrow." I thought she was joking, so I laughed once, then went cold. I said, "Mom, it's my wedding day. Her audition is tomorrow." She said, "You'll understand when you have kids. Chloe's more sensitive. She needs us." I asked, "So you're really not coming?" Mom said, "Not today," like she was canceling lunch. I called my dad next, and he didn't answer. 10 minutes later, he texted, "We'll talk later." So I got married without my parents there. Tom's family filled our side of the aisle, and his mom hugged me so tight my pins poked. When it was time to walk down, Tom's dad offered his arm and whispered, "Every daughter deserves this." I smiled for photos, but there was an empty space where my family should have been. 6 months later, Mom called like nothing had happened. Her voice was urgent and sweet, the way it gets when she wants something. She said, "Bella, we need your help. Chloe needs treatment again, and it costs $40,000. Then she added, "We already mortgaged the house, but we're $15,000 short." I looked at my wedding photo on the wall and felt my throat tighten. I asked, "You mortgaged the house for her, but you wouldn't lend me $200 to eat?" Mom snapped, "That's different. She's sick. Family helps family." I said, "Family also shows up to weddings." She tried to talk over me, so I said, "Sell the camera gear in the basement. You called that an investment." Mom said, "We can't. That's Chloe's creative future." My hands were shaking, but I said, "Then this is my future, and I'm done paying to be ignored." Mom went silent, like she couldn't believe I meant it. Last week, Chloe called me from the center on a shared phone. She sounded small and shaky and said, "I know Mom and Dad messed up. I'm getting better. I want us to be a real family." I felt that old pressure, like I was supposed to fix everything again. I said, "Chloe, I hope you get help, but I can't keep being the backup plan." She started crying and said, "Please don't give up on us." I swallowed hard and said, "I didn't give up. You all gave me a place where I never mattered." She kept crying, and my chest hurt, but I couldn't do it anymore. I ended the call, deleted their numbers, and set my phone down on the table. Now my parents are calling me cold for saying no. Was I wrong?